we're interviewing women across Chicago. That's the name, because we're interviewing women. So she, like SHE. Just in case people don't get it, I'm like, I have to spell it out. We are here today with Megan. So,
hello.
Megan, introduce yourself. Tell us a little bit about yourself. I just met you. Well, I talked to you the other day, but just met you today. You're one of Mo's friends, so I'm a little skeptical on our relationship right now. But
it's fine. You'll grow to love me.
So tell us a little bit about yourself, who you are, and kind of what you're doing in Chicago right now.
For sure. So I'm Megan. My friends call me MC or Meg, whichever works for you.
MC.
Is
that like in case you ever got like a rap career or no? I'm just kidding.
No.
I like it though.
Thank you. My middle name is Christine. I write
Perfect.
Megan Christine on everything. My friends call me MC.
I love it.
But from a career perspective, I do experiential events for large brands, both small businesses and large. And then I also work in an advertising agency here in Chicago, and I do above the line work for that brand as well.
Very cool. And how long have you been in Chicago? Are you from here? Are you?
Yes, born and raised from the south side of Chicago.
Okay.
And I love this city. It's my favorite place to be.
Awesome. Okay. So the reason I'm doing this and the reason I decided to do this talk show, whatever you want to call it, right? Because, I'm not Oprah, but we can all dream. Is because I've kind of been through panels, and we talked about this, right, on the phone when we were talking, is that women are kind of interviewed, and it's kind of the same questions, and it kind of feels like women are unattainable, right? And so we're trying to interview women that feel a little bit more attainable, so that if somebody else is watching this, they can say, oh, okay, she's, closer to my age than somebody who's 40 or 50 and owns a company.
Yep.
And I can kind of see where she's at and feel like, oh, maybe I can be there in a few years, or maybe I can be there right now, or maybe I am there, and it's a relatable piece. So we'll talk a little bit about the city. We'll talk a little bit about, like, what you're doing, and just kind of, that's it. Yeah. It's fun.
Cool.
I mean, I try to make it fun, right? So one of the first things I like to talk about, which is probably the biggest thing in Chicago to me, is I love brunch, right? I love going to brunch. I love being at brunch. I love, like, knowing that I'm going to go to brunch on Sunday. So how do you feel about brunch? Are you a brunch person?
I love brunch. It is starting to become a problem with my bank account.
Right.
But I love brunch. I love $100 brunch. I love $40 brunch.
Right.
I like anything with a mimosa and a French toast and maybe a slice of pizza.
Okay, so you kind of answered most of the questions that I was about to ask, but let's say you had to pick your favorite place in the city. Where is your favorite spot to go to for brunch? If you're like, I'm going out with my girls, or I'm going, I don't know, whatever it may be, you're like, this is the spot that I will go back to over and over again.
So I have two. One is the
I
Delta. It's more cash, really small, southern.
Yeah.
Really down home. They have an indoor and outdoor part, so it's really nice in the summer.
Okay.
And then the second place is Maple and Ash.
Right. Okay. Who doesn't love Maple and Ash for any meal, right?
Yes, but literally, I've been there and had $100 brunch, and they didn't tell me to leave. They just asked me to move to the bar when they were flipping the table over for dinner service.
Like, ma'am, you've been here a little too long.
And that's how I was there for 6 hours. And between myself and two other friends, we finished almost 6 bottles of champagne. So
I love that.
we had an amazing
I really
time.
feel like maybe we should go out 6 months. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah,
I love
amazing.
that. So what is your favorite dish? Are you a sweet or savory person? If you had to pick one thing off a brunch menu.
I'm definitely a savory person. I like shrimp and grits. I like catfish. I like put a little French toast on the side.
Right.
I definitely like the meat station, like with the roast. That's my thing.
The prime rib.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm the exact same way. I like to go to brunch with people who, like, we can order a bunch of stuff and share it.
Yep.
Because I'm really, like, a big, like, omelet person. Like, I like something a little salty sometimes. I love prime rib. But then I love, like, a side of, like, give me, like, a few bites of French toast or some pancakes or, like, some waffles. But I feel like when I'm drinking, I can't have, like, too much sweet stuff because I feel like it really isn't working.
Yeah, those two things just don't go together. Like,
so you mentioned mimosas and 6 bottles of champagne. So obviously you like to drink at brunch.
I do.
What is your favorite brunch drink?
Probably just a straight mimosa. Keep it classic. Either that or a Bellini, which is just like a distant cousin of a mimosa. But
I went to this place called Prime and Provisions.
Okay.
Have you been?
Heard of it, haven't been.
So their brunch is like unreal. It's like, I think it's $80 for all you can eat and drink.
Nice.
And it is like, they don't just have mimosas. They got like peach juice, orange juice, blood orange juice, grapefruit juice. I remember I took a photo because he brought them all out, and there were like 9 of them or something spread across, and I was like, oh, okay, so we get champagne and whatever juice I want there too. Yeah. So, all right, so speaking of drinking, you like to drink, which I wholly appreciate. So I'm going to name a few scenarios for you, and I want you to tell me, like, what your go-to drink is.
Got it.
So if you are going out with the girls, you're like, I'm going out with the girls, like, can't no man fuck with me tonight. Like, what are you drinking?
I am drinking a lemon drop, but that's usually my go-to drink. But yes, a lemon drop.
Really?
Yep.
Okay.
No sugar on the rim, only with Kettle One, please.
Interesting. Okay. And do you do that in shot form or in glass? Because I know sometimes
glass
they
form.
make them. Okay.
Yeah, I don't
They
like
make
that.
a whole drink. I don't think I've ever had the entire drink out of it.
Yep, they make a drink out of it.
I'm a vodka, soda, 2 limes kind of person.
Well,
I like to keep it light.
I like tequila and a tequila and a soda and 3 limes. That's like my turn up drink. That's
your turn up drink?
Yes, absolutely. Because I'm not gonna be sick the next day.
Okay. What about if you're going on a first date? What do you order?
It depends on the type of restaurant.
Yeah, I feel that.
Probably a glass of wine, maybe a glass of Pinot.
Okay.
But if not, if it's like a Mexican place, definitely going with the house margarita. Yeah.
I feel that. Like the house cocktail.
Yep.
I like a good cocktail too.
Yeah.
What about if the date goes bad? You're like, Lord, I'm still here.
Give me the tequila.
Thank you.
Give me the tequila.
I have been waiting for that answer for like 3 episodes now. I've been waiting for somebody to say the same thing I think. If it is going bad, I'm like, give me a shot.
Yeah.
Give me a tequila.
I'll laugh through it. I'll dance through it. It's fine. As long as I can have tequila.
What about if you're going to an event, like a work event or something serious, and like drinks are there and you can drink, but probably not to get shit-faced? What are you drinking?
I'm drinking wine, but I'm backwashing it with water just because sometimes the rate in which you drink wine will determine how it affects you. So if you're like having a wine night with your girls, you're drinking wine super fast, you're gonna get wasted. But if you're drinking wine leisurely, sometimes it can make you drowsy. So if I'm at a work event, I still have to stay alert. So I'll drink my glass of wine and backwash it with water. Okay,
so for anybody out there watching this, that's a really good tip that I probably should have learned 9 years ago. I'm 30, so, do the math. But take that water and backwash it with wine so you're not really getting that drowsiness. Sometimes I'll do wine and get a coffee or like a Diet Coke to keep the caffeine, because wine also makes me drowsy too. But water is a good idea. I usually just kick it into high gear with some caffeine, and then my stomach the next day is like...
Yeah, like, what'd you do to me?
Right. Okay, and what about when you're feeling like a badass bitch? Like, you're walking out the house, you're like, yes, this is my person.
Tequila. Right. And everybody wants to drive the boat with Douce, and I'm like, I drive a 1942 yacht, so...
Okay.
You can pull up your mezcal ship if you want to.
I do like mezcal.
I like mezcal.
I don't know if I'm taking shots of mezcal, but because I'm definitely taking shots of tequila if it's like a good night. All right, so you're feeling like a bad bitch, right? You're out on the town. What are you wearing? What is your bad bitch go-to outfit?
First of all, it's black, because you can't go wrong with a good black outfit.
Okay.
There's 2 options. There's either a badass dress that comes right above the ankle but fits you amazing.
I thought you were about to say a different part of the body. So
right below the vagina? No. Only in Miami.
That's what I thought you were about to say. So I was really prepared for that next question, right?
Oh,
but, okay.
Sorry.
To the ankle. That's great. So
yeah, but it has to be
fitted.
Fitted. I mean, you need to struggle sitting down, sis. Like, it needs to be fitted.
Like that when you're walking and you're like, you can't really
touch
your legs.
So you walk slowly. You make an entrance into the room because you can't walk that fast.
Right.
That's how your dress needs to fit. And then the second is a sexy two-piece, whether it be top and bottom. More recently, and I kind of downplayed this outfit, but I went to dinner with a girlfriend and I had on thigh-high boots, black, really, I don't want to call them sheer. They weren't sheer. They were just like tight material, but they were leggings.
Okay. I get you.
Yeah, and a black crop top. And that alone, the way that it hugged my body, I put a sweater over it because I was going to a casual dinner. But that alone, if I would have took that sweater off, I could have went into any club and been a bad bitch. So
right. Because you were thinking ahead, like,
yes.
What if I'm going to go somewhere
yep.
after? See, I'm actually, it's funny because I'm wearing black today, but I actually generally don't wear black. I'm a big, like, color fan. So for me, like, a good, like, bad bitch outfit is, like, a full monochrome look.
Ooh,
like, red head to toe or blue head to toe. Or, like, I love white. Okay, not right now because really, like, we're the same color. But, like, on a good day, I could do, like, a full nude outfit or, like, a full white.
Yeah.
Like, I love, like, a nude set. Like, something monochrome. But I'm, like, I'm here for it.
No, I feel that.
So tell me a little bit about your inspiration, because obviously you're looking cute today, and it sounds like you dress really cute. So tell me a little bit about where you get your inspiration from, like, because, we all have things. Like, I'll sometimes go on Pinterest, I'll see somebody walking down the street, and I'm like, oh, that shit's cute. How can I look like that, or how can I wear that? Where do you draw your inspiration from?
One, I'll say that I don't necessarily have a style. I wear whatever makes me feel happy.
Same.
So I'm not in any set category of like hippie or boho chic or like that's not me.
Right.
One day I'm boho chic, the next day I'm Rihanna. It varies. It varies. And which Rihanna also varies.
Right.
But I pull a lot of fashion from my grandmothers and my mother. To me, they're just very classic women. My grandmother did not wear jeans until she had grandchildren.
I love that. You rarely see me in pants, so I sympathize.
She always had on a pantsuit and some heels.
Oh, I love
it.
She
did not dress casually on the day-to-day until she had grandchildren.
Unless I go to Target.
Oh, I love Target.
Yeah, but I'd be looking busted at Target.
It doesn't matter. Target is a safe haven. But yeah, that's where I pull my inspiration from. My mom has never been the mom to like try to control what I wore. Out of all of the battles she had to fight with me, that just wasn't one.
It, right?
I could go out of the house with a shirt that said "fuck you," and she'd be like, "Okay, that's how you feel today. Please don't say that to an adult." Like,
okay. I mean, boundaries, right? We still have some boundaries.
Balance. Yes, you can wear it. Please don't say it. And so that is where I put my inspiration from, thinking about who they were in their 20s and their late 20s, early 20s, teens, whatever, and taking that to the next level and bringing it into a modern perspective.
I love that. Okay. And where do you shop? Where's like 1 or 2, 3 places you like to shop at?
I love Zara.
Okay.
Zara gets all of my money. I stock them, and I'm like, it's on the website. Why is it not in the store? When does the truck come in? I know it comes in at 8. It comes in at 8 on Thursday. Why didn't this store have it? I'm a crazy person.
Okay.
And Target. So I like highs and lows. My friends and I talk about it all the time. The most expensive things you'll see me have on is like my bag and my shoe. Anything else like, in between is fair game.
I feel like I'm talking to myself. I really don't even know how to...
See, and you have the nerve to be skeptical. Told you.
It was really only because don't let anything else fool you. All right, so speaking of inspiration, I like to think about like how we're impacting the world, right? How we're inspiring the world. And that can be anything from volunteering to making an impact to, the girl that was on last time, she was talking about how she takes somebody to dance and like inspires her through dance. So how do you feel like you're inspiring or impacting the world, whether it be through your job or, even the way you dress? How do you feel like you're making an impact on this world?
I think the major impact that I'm making is with my little cousins. So They obviously look up to me in the same way that I looked up to my bigger cousins and or older cousins, and I just want them to remember that they can do anything,
I love that.
and that they don't have to follow the traditional career paths of a lawyer, a doctor, a teacher. Like those
Right.
standardized occupations, you can do whatever and make your own type of career. I'll never forget telling my mother I was going into advertising. I went into school as a journalism major, got my first D ever. And came home like, guess I can't write. So,
Girl, me either.
so I'm gonna find something else to do. Actually, guys, I can write. That teacher was a dick, and I took the class over and passed with a B. So, there you go. No, so I changed my major. I was like, you know what? Newspapers aren't going to be around. I'm not going to have a job anyway. I'll change to something that's always going to be around.
Okay.
And so, you know, I looked at where we live, and we live in a capitalist society, and we're always, I don't care how poor we are, how much debt we Americans in, we're always going to have advertisement.
And
we're
spend
always
money.
Yes, and spend money
Right.
in astronomical.
People are always gonna buy Gucci.
Yes,
and Louis
no matter what. It doesn't.
and- Right.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't
Yeah.
matter what state we're in. So I chose advertising and kind of fell into experiential. If you would have asked me what experiential was my first day out of school, I would have said, "Oh, they plan parties." But it's deeper than that, right? It's making a one-to-one connection between a brand and consumer on a more intimate level.
Okay.
More intimate than one could make through a TV screen, because you have to physically travel someplace to experience a brand
Right.
versus imagining yourself with that brand from the TV screen. And so fell into that, and my family still doesn't know what I do. They just
Oh, you're preaching to the choir.
They
about
just
family
see
not
me-
knowing what you do.
yeah, they just see me on planes,
Yeah.
and they're like, "You get paid to party," and I'm like, "I don't. I'm actually exhausted after a 13-hour day." And so I just want them to know that they can do that. And they also
love
have
that.
the ability to switch. So I also left experiential to do some above the line work in digital and in email and direct mail marketing, just for my own sanity, because experiential can be a lot. And I want them to know it's okay to make a career change. I think at least I come from parents who stayed in their careers for 20, 25 years, then retired. Or I'm sorry, 20 to 25 is really low. I wish my parents would have retired that early. More like
30,
40
35,
years.
Right.
But yeah, they stayed in that one career at that one company, and then they retired. And so when I told my parents I was leaving my first job, they were like, "Why? Why would you do that? That doesn't make any sense."
Right. It's
And
a very
when-
different world.
Yeah,
though,
it's a completely different world, and so I want to make sure that they have an advocate that will support them in any type of career decision or change they may make.
I love that. So you touched a little bit on, I heard you glance over the 13-hour days. So I want to talk a little bit about a day in your life, right? So you're talking about how you're impacting the world through your job, which is amazing. And I obviously don't think it's just your cousins. I think you're kind of reaching beyond and saying, like, to other girls who might be out there, like, you can do this too, you know? Which is awesome. So tell me a little bit about what a day looks like for you. So let's start with, like, a shorter day. You're like, you know what, I don't have as much to do today. I don't have as much running around. What does that day look like for you?
My Mondays are usually slower, which
God, I feel like Mondays for me are like...
I know everybody's like, my Monday's hell. But I don't have my first meeting until 10 a.m. So
That's nice.
that gives me the opportunity to work out, actually wake up, because 9 times out of 10 I'm driving while still asleep.
Right.
Like, it gives me the time to ground myself, and I think having that late start on a Monday makes the rest of my week run smoother. So
Okay.
I'll just run
Love
you
that.
through today. I woke up, went to hot yoga, got dressed, and then went into the office, sat in my first meeting for 15 minutes, which that meeting is by far my favorite meeting.
Okay.
And then went through emails over the weekend. I'm a big advocate of turning off and knowing when to turn off. And I do not take my laptop home. I try so
love that.
hard.
Okay.
I try really hard to not take my laptop home, and I glance at my email once every night just to make sure I'm not missing anything urgent. But my Monday then consists of me like jogging my memory of emails from the previous week and looking at anything sent over the weekend.
And then what does a long day look like for you?
A long day is just meetings on meetings on meetings.
Because you said a 13-hour day, right?
So yeah, so I did a 13-hour day in experiential. I don't have those days anymore.
Okay.
Usually, my normal day is starting at 9:30 and trying to be out by 5 and off my laptop. That is my.
Okay.
That is my.
I love that.
You know what? I will say that African American women in the advertising industry, we have to go twice as hard. And what it does is it creates a narrative that we cannot also sustain healthy relationships outside of work.
And preaching to the choir there.
And so my goal at 25 is to make sure that I create healthy habits so that whenever marriage and kids do come, I can sustain a healthy life both in and outside of the office.
I love that.
Yeah, so I think, like, you know, if you don't make that a habit while you're single, what makes you think that you're going to wake up one day and just, like, be able to switch it off? You're not, because it will have been your life for so long. So I'm a strong proponent of taking
time for yourself.
Taking that time. But when I did experiential, it was just constant work. And I also worked across the pond in the sense that half of my team worked in Los Angeles.
Okay.
So with that, it was a 2-hour difference. So it was like staying behind till 7 because that was their 5. But sometimes their 5 turned into 7, which was your 9. And so it was like getting briefs done, making sure teams on both ends, whether it was in the Chicago office or the LA office, had what they needed in order to keep the boat rowing. And then going home. And then sometimes getting emails when you're at home and just having that anxiety of like, oh my God, did I send that email? Or
it's pretty much me all the time.
Yes.
Or in my mind, I'm like, is Mo texting me about something that I forgot to send him for like the 750th time this week? Because literally that happens all the time.
Yeah.
He'll text me and be like, so, where is it at? And I'm like, oh no, I sent it.
Yeah.
Probably didn't. But you know.
But it makes you hyper organized. I will say that.
Sometimes. Sometimes. With certain things in
2020
my life.
is your year. It's fine.
This was my year too. I just, I think there might be some things
disconnect.
There might be some things that never connected and may never ever get connected.
Fair.
So you got to take what you give and, And
yes.
So I like that you spoke a little bit about that because I feel like, and we've talked about this with the other girls that have been on the show, is I feel like we as women take on so many things and we do so many things and we multitask and we kind of lose sight of ourselves and who we are. So I think it's really important that you spoke a little bit about mental health because that's actually the last thing that we talk about. And you talked about taking time for yourself, putting your laptop away, putting your phone away. How long did that take you to get to a place to do that?
I learned by example. I've always been that person. And I've witnessed relationships dissolve.
Right.
And I take note.
Okay.
And so it didn't take me maybe it took me about a year to really understand, like, I don't have to do this. But then I also needed to change my environment so that was like applicable to my life. So if I would have stayed in experiential, I would not have had the space or opportunity to even turn off. I think because I have more of a standard 9 to 5 now, I have that opportunity in that space. So you have to come to terms with what's actually going on and contributing to the lifestyle that you have, and then assess the changes that you want to make.
I love that.
Yeah.
Okay. So you walked us through everything. The last thing I have for you, because, I promised I'd keep this short so that we didn't run on forever. Tell me a little bit about where you're at now. Meaning, like, we know what you do. We know you like to go out. We know you like brunch. But tell me, like, where you're at now. I mean, in terms of, like, how you're feeling, where you're at now mentally, where you're at just in general.
Yeah, right now, I think I would have to say that I I am in the process of doing things that make me genuinely happy.
Okay.
Um, when I think about hot yoga, so I'm a member at Hot Works. I don't
Okay.
know if you've heard of it. Essentially, you can do all your workouts in a sauna, and it's
Oh, I love that. I
probably
love
the
hot
most
yoga. So
amazing thing like I've ever done in my life. But having that is like, okay, I can use this time to meditate. I can use this time to pray. I can use this time to really just let everything go and leave it in the sauna. You know what I mean?
okay,
And
I love
so
that.
that makes me genuinely happy. When I think about my career and the trajectory of my career, I'm extremely happy. I think that, and I mentioned this to you when we spoke, but I am looking to get back into experiential, but on my own from an entrepreneurial standpoint. And so
Right.
I'm excited about that and excited to apply everything that I learned earlier on in my career
Okay.
to smaller clients, larger clients, and really creating a space because the cool thing about experiential is that it's really niche right now.
It is.
There are no rules.
That's true.
I have
Yeah, that's true.
I've witnessed some crazy things go down and no fire marshal has come in and said maybe that's not okay.
Right.
And so it's a really fun time to get into that space and be creative and go beyond your wildest dreams when we think of things like complex con and those type of build outs and how many people it's garnering. That's how you know that you're like bringing in
Right.
the right people and making those right connections.
So would it be safe to say that if you're talking to women, if anybody's watching and they're learning from you or hopefully, gleaning something from you, would it be safe for you to say or to anybody or for me to assume that it's okay to kind of be in that process phase? Because I feel like we as women don't always feel like that process phase is okay. Like we want to go from like A to B and like go directly from A to B instead of having that in between. So do you feel like that process phase is necessary?
Absolutely. I think that we want to go from A to B, B being the next step that someone else told us, but
Right.
everybody's next step is not your next step. So the process phase is for you to figure out what B is. Like sometimes you just don't know. I don't know how many entrepreneurial ideas I've gone through.
Right.
And I get to a point where I'm like, okay, not throwing it away, but put that on a sticky note. Like I'll get back to that.
Yeah.
And I think that that's necessary because one, you find your joys. Through this process, I figured out what I like, what I don't like, what I want to do in the future, how I want to prioritize my goals. And I think that is extremely necessary. And also, I'd say that the process phase does not only happen once, right?
Right.
So you get from idea to, I don't know, LLC, right? Or trademark. And then the next process phase is design. Like, who are you? What do you want to say? Yeah. And so you're always in a state of continuously processing your brand and your entity or whatever you're developing.
And would you say that you're like that people can be like that too? So we're always in a state of processing, right? So like if we're putting together a company, right, there's always those processes. But do you feel like we as people and we as women especially, like it's okay for us physically and mentally to also be in that process phase of like we don't have to figure it out? And
absolutely. We experience trauma on both low and high levels, and we're in a constant state of healing. Whether it's your friend was super mean to you today and that really hurt your feelings, or your boyfriend cheated on you, like those are polar opposites, right? But they're both states of healing, and you're constantly processing things and learning how to react to those, or maybe not react to those things, but be proactive so that those things don't happen, or whatever life throws at you, you're constantly trying to figure out how to handle those things.
Okay, that's good. I think that's a good way to end. And so if there's anybody else watching, is there anything else you want to say? Maybe like small little piece of advice you want to give? I mean, we talked through a lot, but maybe there's like something that you just want to end with and you're like, this is really important to me, or I mean, go for it. That camera's yours. It is all you.
So I will say, to end my segment, It's my segment now. I'm just taking it over.
It's okay.
One, brunch as much as possible.
Right.
Even if you have to cook it yourself, please brunch because it's healthy to your overall success. Two, find a girl tribe. I think that on my 25th birthday, I bawled. I just broke out into tears because I was surrounded by the people that meant the most to me, and some I've known for 10 years, some I've known for 3 years. Whatever the case may be, they are my tribe, and I think that's so necessary. When I see a woman, she's my sister, not my competitor. And so I think that that's super important. And then I will also say, always have a plan C, D, E, F, G. Because you're always in the state of processing things and thinking things through, it'll never go the way that you think it'll go.
I love it. Thank you so much, Megan, for being on the show.
Thanks for having me.
On Chicago, SHE. And we appreciate your time. Thank you so much.
Thank you.